Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Is this thing on? Oh, good.
I am so viscerally afraid of accidentally texting the chief of police. Kind of weird, that's all she wrote. You are in my thoughts and prayers in perpetuity. Now, mind you, I don't even have the chief of police's phone number, and why would I? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Monologuing. I'm Mads Mitch, and I'm your host today, and always, because, well, quite frankly, this is literally my podcast, so who else is going to host it? Happy freaking Monday. It is Monday, October 20th. It is my mother's birthday. Everyone say, happy birthday, Maddie's mom. Happy birthday, mom. She's probably on her way to work as she's listening to this. So I hope you have a fabulous day, Mom. I love you so much. I'm so excited for this week's episode. We're doing October gossip. I have a lot to catch you up on, but I hope you had a fabulous weekend. I hope you're feeling well rested and rejuvenated and ready to tackle whatever life might throw at you this week. And I don't think that that's asking too much of your favorite podcast host. Wow. Okay. So let's start with Act 1. We'll get into the gossip in Act 2. Act 1, let's catch up for a sec. This last week's episode was a teensy bit delayed. That's my bad. I really thought I had everything under control, and I'm recording this episode today along with two others. God bless me, and may God bless me in my quest, because I don't know how I'm going to do this. Because I need to batch some episodes because I'm traveling. The thing, every single time I travel, I forget how long it takes me to prepare to travel, like without fail. I don't know, nothing about me historically ever has been described by anyone, including myself, as easy breezy. And yet, for whatever reason, I treat packing and preparing for a trip like I am the easiest, breeziest girl in the world. And that is just a bold-faced lie. Like, it fully is. And so I find myself facing the consequences of that lie every single time. So last week, I have no concept of time. When I recorded last week's episode, I was feeling on top of the world. I did it several days in advance, which was shocking for me and a huge accomplishment, quite frankly. And I said, okay, done and dusted, recorded it, filmed it. I'll just edit it later. It'll be so chill, and I'll just kind of get to it later and I'll edit it later. Later never came. Next thing I know, I'm in Texas. Shoot. Without my laptop. Sans laptop. Okay. And then I'm thinking, well, it just is what it is at this point in time. And then I got home on Monday, and I was thinking, in my head all weekend, I was like, well, I'll just edit it as soon as I get home on Monday. No, babe. You won't. You haven't slept in days. You're not getting tickets to that show. There's no way. There's literally no way that you're going to edit this episode when you land. It's beautiful, wishful thinking on your part, but it's not happening. So I did edit the episode on Tuesday, and the episode was out on Tuesday. My apologies. So what I'm doing today, as I mentioned, is I'm batching 3 episodes because next week I'll be traveling again, and I am crossing all of my fingers and toes that today goes smoothly recording these episodes. I also have this really lofty goal of editing all 3 of these episodes today. In case you're time check, 11 a.m. So like later than I would have liked to be starting to record the first one. It is what it is, but you know what? I think I'm going to need several more coffees this morning, and that's fine. I'm making my peace with it, but I just wanted to kind of fill you in on what's happening. Also, if this episode is a little bit shorter and the next 2 episodes are a little bit shorter, that's why I'm trying my hardest. Okay. And also this episode is the only one that'll have a life update because I don't think much is going to transpire over the course of the next several hours. I hope you can understand, but I do have lots to catch you up on today. So let's jump into that. So yes, I went to Texas, guys. I was in Texas. It's crazy. Texas, honestly, not a place that I ever thought I would travel to. Like, to speak my truth, I'm sure, and I know that Texas has a lot of its own merit, but it's just never been up there for me at all. And as the years go on, I find myself feeling less and less inclined to travel to a lot of places down south, but Texas in particular. But the circumstances and the stars kind of aligned for me. And so I found myself gracing Texas with my presence. No, I had a fabulous time. I went on my first brand trip, baby's first brand trip. And could it have been a more on-brand experience? No, it couldn't, because it was with my favorite pasta company on the face of the planet. Like, I live for things like this. It was as organic as it gets, okay? As you guys know, because I haven't shut up about Brahmi since the beginning of the year, I'm obsessed with Brahmi. It's an incredible pasta. It's a protein pasta, very clean ingredients. It's made in Italy. It's bronze cut. I am a walking brochure for Brahmi pasta. And who would have thought that it would pay off in this way? Truly not me. Truly not me at all. Just like a little behind the scenes, because you all saw that I posted a brand deal for them like a month ago. And so what had happened, obviously, I don't shut up about Brahmi. I posted on my story whenever I cook pasta, because it's literally the only pasta I use, hand to God. I'm obsessed with this pasta. I have convinced everyone in my life to try this pasta. I'm a missionary. I am a Brahmi missionary. You heard it here first. Like, I go out and I spread the good word of Brahmi's pasta. And also I talk about the importance of fiber, because fiber is so important. And that's what got me into Brahmi in the first place, is that they have a lot of fiber in their pasta too, because it's made with the lupini bean. And so I'm so wildly obsessed with this pasta. I was posting about it on my story all the time, and started interacting with the girlies at Brahmi in the DMs when I would be incessantly posting about their pasta. And it was a grand old time. They ended up sending me like a big box of pasta at one point, and I was like, this is my peak, honestly. I thought that was my peak. I was like, wow, getting free Brahmi, that means a lot to me, right? And then they reached out to me and they said, oh, we want to collaborate with you. We want to do a brand deal. And I was like, this is my peak. Now I'm actually getting paid to spread the good word, which is something I've been doing for free for 9 months. Like, that's incredible. It's so incredible. And I'm so passionate about this. So yes. And I got on a call with them, and they were exactly what you would think the people who work at my favorite pasta company would be like. Lovely, just lovely. And then on that call, when we're discussing the brand deal, they said, oh, by the way, we're going on our first ever brand trip to Austin, Texas for ACL. Are you interested? Gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked, because this is my peak now. The peak kept peaking. And that's, how often does that happen, right? And so I said, yes. I said, without a shadow of a doubt, yes, sign me up. I'm there. So I went to Texas. I went to Austin City Limits Music Festival with my favorite pasta company. Like, guys, I know. I'm sure some of you are shedding a tear for me right now. It was like the best experience, the best weekend of my life. Like, truly the best weekend of my life. I had so much fun. I was able to bring a +1. I brought my dear friend Emma. Emma and I had just so much fun. And then I got to meet a ton of new creators that I had never met before, which is so fun. And they're lovely +1s. And we are Ohana, you could say. Like, we are family at the end of the day. And that's such a beautiful thing. I truly would go into battle for anyone that was on that trip. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, in a weird way, I mean that. Had the time of my life. Truly the time of my life. I don't feel like I was in Texas, though. That, I do want to say that. I don't feel like I got in any way, shape, or form like an authentic Texas experience, because I was picked up from the airport, went straight to the Airbnb, and then I was literally at the Airbnb and the festival the entire time. So I feel like I didn't really, we went out one night, and I got to see the sights of downtown Austin. I saw the Marriott, I saw the Hilton, I saw like a Westin. I don't know where we were on Hotel Alley. Apparently we were at this rooftop bar, but all of the views were just major chain hotels, which is, I guess, beautiful in its own capitalistic right. Who's to say? But those were the sites that I saw in Austin. And then obviously we spent the most time at the festival, which was crazy. I would never in a million years have thought that I would ever attend a festival. And quite frankly, these are the only circumstances in which I'd find myself doing so, because people do that for fun. Like, that's crazy. It's so hot. It is so hot. Texas is so hot. You heard it here first. Breaking news, Texas is hot. No, but it was so interesting because we were talking to some local people, who were coming to the house. We had different like vendors coming to the house, which is so cool. And we're talking to them and they were like, they kept saying like, oh, you guys have a great weekend for ACL. Like it's not too hot out. And I'm like, I'm dying. I'm drenched in sweat. What do you mean? They're like, oh yeah, this is lovely weather. I'm like, wow, that's it. And I'm so happy for you guys that you are getting some sort of reprieve, I suppose. But this is miserable for me. Like I am miserable. It was so disgustingly hot. The sun just would not quit. There was no shade. You're just baking in this dirt bowl. It was really, really, I was so blessed because Brahmi had this little bungalow area that had shade and water, and that is so, so, so important. And I truly would not have survived without those things, which is, again, why I cannot envision going to this festival under any other circumstances. I'm also just like, I would never, I'm not really like a festival person. I totally see the merit. It was so much fun. It was so, so, so much fun. We got to see so many different people perform that I never would have seen otherwise, I'm sure. So that was kind of a really cool aspect of it. Who did we see? Who were my highlights of the weekend? We saw Role Model. He's an incredible performer. I was really excited to see him. I love his music and he was great. He has a great, great stage presence. He was great live. Who else? We saw Hosier. We saw Hosier on Friday night. He was great too. Although the stage that he was on, and maybe it's, I don't know what it was, but he was talking at one point. He was really, really rallying the crowd. He was giving some clearly very like emotional speech. Couldn't hear a word he was saying. And we were right next to the stage. I don't know if it was like where we were or if there was like some weird audio thing, but everyone down on the ground could hear him for sure, because like randomly he'd be talking and everyone would be like, woo! And me and Emma couldn't hear a thing. And we were like, woohoo! Because we were like, I'm sure I probably agree with you. So I don't want to make it look like I don't agree with you. So yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for speaking on that. Of course, had just simply no clue what he was saying, but he was also great live. It wasn't an issue when he was singing. It was when he was talking for whatever reason. It was not coming out crystal clear. And then on Saturday we saw Doechii. She was incredible. And then we saw Sabrina Carpenter. She was headlining that night. Listen, I had high hopes for Sabrina Carpenter because I think her music is so fun. And I was like, this is like this, I think out of the whole weekend, that was like the most like fun music, and I was so excited. And, she just knocked it out of the park. Like a truly incredible performer. I've never seen anything like it. Well, okay. She definitely is giving Taylor Swift in terms of like the entertainment factor, like she has the it factor. Like she commands the stage. She's so fun to watch. Like the entire set was so fun. I loved everything about it. And then who was on Sunday? Sunday was T-Pain. Okay. We saw T-Pain. And then we also saw John Summit was headlining that night. Who was the other person headlining that night? Oh, I think The Killers. But John Summit was on the stage that I could sit comfortably on a couch and listen to. And so I opted for that option. I am not emotionally attached to John Summit in any way, shape, or form. A lot of people are. I found out. I didn't. Okay. Transparently, going into this weekend, I had heard his name, had no clue what his craft was. His craft is DJing, for anyone who is unfamiliar. So he's a DJ. Listen, I'm finding it. Okay. So one thing I will say about him, we were looking him up prior, and the first thing I said when I saw his face on a phone screen was, oh yeah, he looks kind of like a compilation of all the contestants that have ever been on Dancing with the Stars. Listen, at one point or another, that man will end up on Dancing with the Stars. I am sure of it. Like, I am so beyond sure of it. I've never been more sure of anything, except actually one thing I am a little bit more sure of. When he came on stage and his face was on the big screen, I was thinking, yeah, that's someone's little brother. John Summit is the most little brother person to have ever existed on the face of the planet ever. I've never felt more confident about anything in my entire life. Like, to say that he's someone's little brother isn't really doing it justice. Like, he is a little brother embodied. He is the embodiment of a little brother. Take that how you will. He's the most, like, and I think it was also him DJing in this like tank top and just, doing whatever DJs do, that I was thinking he's giving someone's little brother like in the basement of a house party. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that's John, Jack's younger brother. He's DJing for us tonight. Like, that was the vibe that he was giving. Now listen, like, trigger warning, DJ hate. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So the thing with DJs is how does that work? How does that work? And this is okay. I will say this is like part genuine curiosity, but it's laced and littered in judgment. I will say that, like, to be transparent with you. Just like the idea of, because so many people were so excited to see John Summit, and listen, if you are a John Summit fan, if you are like a big DJ fan, if you like, I don't know, electronic music, I literally sound like I'm 80. Don't care. I feel really good about it, actually. But if that's your cup of tea, like, amazing. Like, I love that for you. That's totally, I don't want to be casting judgment on anyone who's liking that. I am just like, I don't understand it. So if you're a fan of John Summit, and there were ample fans of John Summit that were so excited to see his set, I'm like, what does that mean? How are you a fan? Okay, there's obviously a difference between a good DJ and a bad DJ. We can all agree on that. But amongst the good DJs, like, what is the difference? Everyone's doing the same. You could play me 30 different DJs and I would just think it was one long set. I would think it was all one big mega set performed by one DJ. I don't get it. And then everyone, it's like the moments that people are getting so excited for, it's like, that's Kesha, babe. So you like Kesha. I don't understand how then it correlates to like, oh, I love John Summit. Also, I, historically speaking, very vocally speaking, am an IP freak, and I can't get over, like, do artists not get upset that like DJs are using their music? Is there a licensing process? Do people follow it? I'm so confused as to like how that works, because their set is literally just a culmination of everyone else's music. DJs are kind of like AI when you think about it, because AI art is just like a culmination of every artist that's ever come before them, and like that's low key what DJs are doing too. And we know how I feel about AI, especially AI art. Like it's so weird to me. It's like, I really don't understand it, because, and also you have no idea what you're going to get. Like, it seems like they were like, oh yeah, his set for this weekend, like I heard it's so good. So it's like, you never know what you're in for. And then at the end, he was like, one more song. And I'm like, hasn't this all been just one long song? I just don't understand. I really, really don't understand. And I know some DJs like have their own music, but is it their own? It begs the question. But people were so excited for him, and I love that for them. Like I said, like, that's amazing. But I was left just gobsmacked. I was like, okay. I just have no, I think in summation, I don't get it. That's where I'd like to end this conversation. But I do have one other thing I would like to say about ACL. I became a mother. I'm a mommy. Mamacita. That's me. This is what happened. Saturday night. Let me paint the picture for you, okay? Saturday night, Sabrina Carpenter is performing. Hell yeah. I'm so excited. Now, Sabrina Carpenter and Doechii were both on this stage across the festival. So there's two main stages where all the headliners perform, and where our bungalow was right next to one of the main stages, which was incredible. However, on Saturday, Doechii and Sabrina Carpenter were both performing on the opposite headliner stage, so we had to haul ass. We had to, in fact, haul ass over to the other stage, and there is a VIP section for that stage as well, which, listen, this sounds douchey. I'm sorry. It just, when I think of a less douchey way to go about this story, I will get back to you. But we had wristbands for the VIP section, but this VIP section, it's, these things are built specifically for this festival, these like structures. And so they have like a very strict occupancy limit. And so for major performers like Doechii and Sabrina Carpenter, like the VIP area fills up, right? And then at that point, it's a 1 in, 1 out situation. So there's this huge line. And whenever someone leaves VIP, they let a few people in, you know, a couple people leave, they let a couple people up, but like you're in line, you're in it for the long haul, right? And the thing with this VIP section, it didn't have food or water or drinks or bathrooms. So people were leaving pretty regularly because if you wanted another drink, if you wanted water, if you needed to pee, you were out of there. And then you'd have to get back in line to go back up. This is me all setting the scene. Okay. We had been in the VIP section for Doechii, me and like pretty much everyone that I was with. And then what happened is like half the group decided to go get drinks and pee and get water and everything. And then they were going to get in line to come back up. They're like, we should have plenty of time to get back up to this section for Sabrina Carpenter. And so I was like, Godspeed, God bless. I think I had already peed at that point. So I was like, yeah, like go do your thing. I was up there with a few other people. And then the few other people that I was with was like, they were like, oh my God, look, like there's actually so much room for Sabrina on the ground. Like, should we go and try and get close to the stage? Peer pressure. Real peer pressure in that moment. Because to speak my truth personally, being in being in a throng of people in this Texas heat, that's not speaking to my soul. Not even a little bit, not even at all. In fact, being in any throng of people, that's not for me. It's not for me and it never has been. But they're like, should we go down? And then this was my fear, is that they would all leave. I would stay up in this VIP section, saving our spot for everyone. This was what I was thinking. Everyone would go down. And then they would run into everyone that was down there. And then they would all together go into the crowd. And I would be up in the VIP section by myself. And I wouldn't be able to find them in the crowd. That would be truly an impossible task. And so I thought I might as well stick with the people that I'm with rather than isolating myself. Oh, the irony. So I go down into the crowd with them. Within 30 seconds of us standing where we were standing, it starts to fill in real quick. And I'm thinking, no, no, Sabrina, love you, girl. I can't do this. I literally can't do this. So I said, I'm going to go back to VIP. And they were like, that's crazy because you're never going to get into VIP at this hour. And I thought, it is what it is. Like, I've made my peace with it. So I depart from them and I'm texting my friends who they said that they are back up in the VIP section. So I said, okay, I'm coming to meet you. And they're like, good luck. I'm like, okay, awesome. At this point, it's like by the time I get in line, Sabrina goes on in 30 minutes. Okay. So everyone who's up in the VIP section, why the fuck would they leave the VIP section? Like, you would have to pee so bad in order to leave that VIP section at this point in time. So no one's leaving. In other words, I'm standing in this long ass line. I'm not getting tickets to that show, babe. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are just, there's no way I actually make it in time to see Sabrina. And that's truly devastating news. And I was like really trying hard to like make my peace with it in this line by myself, because like everyone I know is like either on the ground and has a phenomenal view, or they're up in VIP, and I'm like really having the worst FOMO of my entire life. So I'm standing in this line. I'm like kind of pissed because I'm like, why I shouldn't have left VIP in the first place. Like, that was so stupid, whatever. I'm standing in line. It's a long line. Like, I just like really can't emphasize that enough. And like I said, at this point, no one's leaving. Like, this line at one point was moving so fast. It's hardly moving at all because no one is going to leave. And so there's this woman in front of me, this Texas woman, and her two presumably offspring, these two young girls, I would say age 7, both of them, I would say age 7. And the little girls, they're being little girls at a Sabrina concert. You know what I mean? Like, they are having the time of their lives. They're like climbing all over the little, like the barricade for the line. Like, they're just like being silly, goofy girls. And this evidently is rubbing the mom the wrong way. This woman, she was so unique, but I will say that like the girls were just like being girls. And then as it started to get closer and closer to Sabrina coming on, they started to panic naturally. Cause like they don't understand this. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really get it, but they know that they are not up where you can see Sabrina and she's about to come on. And that's stressful for them and relatable. It's stressful for me too. So they start kind of freaking out a little bit, to which point the mom decides, you know, actually it's your fault that we're down here, and just starts kind of really reiterating that to these two 7-year-old girls who are like so upset that they might not see Sabrina, which is such an interesting tactic. And listen, listen, I do have like tons of empathy for the mom. I'm sure she was like at her wit's end, like taking children to ACL. Wow, that is not for the faint of heart. I don't know why people do it. I get it, but in a much more real sense, I don't at all. Just kind of sounds miserable, but like good on you, I guess. And so she reiterates to these girls that like, you guys are the reason that we left VIP in the first place. Like, you had to go to the bathroom, so we had to come down. Like, if you didn't have to go to the bathroom, if you had gone to the bathroom when I told you to go to the bathroom, then we wouldn't be in the situation. She's like, I don't even care about Sabrina Carpenter, but now you guys are gonna miss it. And just kind of took it to like a weird place and was being so loud, like weirdly involving every single person in line in this like intimate family drama, which like, thank you, but no thank you. Like, I'm actually not interested in that. And so it was a weird vibe for a second. And then the line, you know, it's slowly moving a little bit here and there. People are getting let in, which is great. And, you know, it's a winding line. So it's just like, okay, a little bit closer. And then at one point, and I'm like really trying to just mind my own business at this point in time. I'm talking to people behind me. I don't want anything to do with peace and love with this woman in front of me. Like, and I'm trying to make that known. Also, at some points, like, the girls weren't moving up when they should have been moving up. And so I was like, you know, just one of those vibes. And she wasn't paying attention at all. She's like texting her friend the entire time. So whatever. So eventually one of the little girls starts complaining that she has to pee again, which is so relatable because I also had to pee like 35 times in this line, but I couldn't because I had no one to save my spot. And so she's like, okay, well, if you have to go to the bathroom, like, she's like, we can't, because, you know, we'll lose our place in line and then we'll never get to see her, like fear mongering these children. Interesting tactic, but okay. And so she's like, yeah, we can't get out of line because there's no one to save our spot. And then the girl's like, no, I really have to go. So like, she's like, okay, fine. So I'm thinking, sweet, they're getting out of line. I get to move up a spot. That's amazing. Like, that's incredible. Like, I just knocked 3 people out. Perfect. She turns to me. We haven't said a word the entire time. We have not said a word to each other. Turns to me. She goes, what's your name? I said, Maddie. She goes, okay, this is Lexi. I'll be right back. She leaves the 7-year-old girl with me in line to see Sabrina Carpenter. I have never in my life have I experienced something so jarring. What do you mean? What do you mean? Not that I think there's any circumstance to leave your child alone with a stranger. I don't. But certainly not someone that you like haven't even interacted with. That's crazy. That is so crazy. I had not said a word to them. Like, we had not, it's not like we'd been having a conversation. Like, I guess I could see it a little bit more if that were the case. Had not said a word. Okay. And this is what I'm getting. A child. A baby. Okay, that's so interesting. And so I look down at this child, so perplexed, and she looks up at me and she goes, I have a friend named Maddie. And I said, it's a good name, isn't it? And then she said, I also have a friend named Maggie. And I said, that's so funny. I used to have a dog named Maggie. And she lost her mind. She thought that was the craziest thing in the world. And then we start talking about Sabrina and our favorite Sabrina songs. And, you know, before you know it, the mom comes back from taking the other little girl to the bathroom, 2 double margaritas in hand. Huh? Now, I would have no qualms with this if one of the margaritas was for me. Certainly wasn't. Babysitter on duty. Do I just Venmo request you? Like, what do you want me to do? No. This woman literally abandoned this child in line to go get 2 margaritas. I do think she also took the daughter to the bathroom, but like, still. Come to find out, the child she left me with, not even her kid. Not even her own offspring. She literally goes, she's so responsible. I could leave her with anyone. What? That's the craziest thing to say. That is the craziest thing to say about a child who is responsible. Like, that's your barometer for being responsible. You could leave her with anyone, babe. That's not sounding the way that I think you wanted it to sound. It was such a unique situation. And then she starts talking to me. The whole rest of the time, she's like taking videos of the girls while they're in line because they're like dancing and stuff. And we were having like a conversation, but then we get closer and closer and closer to the front of the line. At this point, there's 2 people, and then the woman and her 2 daughters, well, sort of daughters, and then me. Okay. And so we're like next in line. We should be part of the next group, because they were probably letting like 5-6 people in at a time. And so we were up next, and the couple in front of them is like, you know what? We'll let you go. We'll let you go next, like, because of the kids. Like, they definitely are more excited to see it than we are, which was so nice of them. So nice of them. I whisper in this mother's ear, "I'm with you." And she nods. She gets it. I was able to blackmail her, and we did, in fact, get let up together. So then she starts playing into it, and God bless her soul, she's like, "Girls, like, who do you want to watch the concert with, Mommy or Maddie?" You know, one and the same at this point in time, Mommy and Maddie. And they're like freaking out, because now the girls are obviously obsessed with me, and they're like, Maddie, which was just kind of hilarious. Just like fully playing into the fact that, like, yeah, we know each other. Like, we're friends and we're in this line together, which is obviously not the case. But I understand your confusion, as I was just left in charge of one of them. Like, I totally get it. So then, yeah, I got let up, and I bid my children adieu. They literally ate my dust. I booked it up those stairs so fast. And then I met my friends. At this point, also, Sabrina had started playing like 4 songs ago. So I'm like, I've never been more panicked in my life. I'm like, babe, let me up there. And then I was reunited with my friends, and I danced my little heart out. I didn't miss any songs that I was like upset about. So that was a good thing. I got to see all of my faves. It was incredible. It was honestly such a peak of the weekend. But yeah, so that's my summary of my Texas trip. Oh, also, this was so crazy. At the Airbnb that we were staying at with Brahmi, they had a literal Italian private chef making us pasta every day. Like, I'm sorry. It just doesn't get better than that. I've searched for ways where it could have gotten better. It doesn't. But I will say, like, after meeting the people that I met at the company, I met the founder of the company and his wife. They were so lovely. I met their woman who is the director of their brand, and then their social media girly pop. I'm so obsessed with them. I'm literally so obsessed with everyone at Brahmi, even more so. So if you thought I was like weirdly so passionate and obsessed with Brahmi prior to this weekend, shoot, like, it's so much worse now. I feel even more passionately that every single person on the face of the planet needs to try Brahmi. So let this be your sign. Let this be your sign. Go buy some Brahmi. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's get into the gossip of it all. Let's see. Okay. My housemate broke up with his boyfriend last month. All pretty amicable. Until this weekend, when he went to a rugby match and met a guy who told him about how him and his now ex-boyfriend had slept together after a night out. When confronted about it, the ex chose to block my housemate and removed him and any of his friends from all social media. A cheating scoundrel. I screenshotted this one because of how British it was. I was obsessed. The rugby match. A cheating scoundrel. I can't. I literally can't. I'm so obsessed with that. Okay, but that sucks. But on a much more real sense, that sucks, actually. Okay, low-key scared to send this in. I love when they start like that, because I'm sat immediately. But I don't think anyone in this situation listens to the pod. LOL. Okay. Okay, diss. Like, none of them would listen to this podcast. So my friend, we'll call her Susan, is significantly older than me and got divorced from her husband, we'll call him Alex, 4 years ago, and has been hooking up with her ex-best friend's husband, we'll call him Michael, since probably before the divorce. Wow. Okay. Did everyone get that? Okay, so Susan got divorced from Alex 4 years ago, and now she's hooking up with her ex-best friend's husband, Michael, since before the divorce. So Susan and Michael now have to talk via Twitter DMs because they got caught through iMessage, email, WhatsApp, you name it, by his wife. We'll call her Abby too many times. Listen, hey, Susan, listen. If you ever, I guess this goes out to anyone. If you ever find yourself in a situation wherein your only form of communication with a man can be Twitter DMs, get the fuck out of there. Aw, get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out of there. What on earth do you mean? Because not only is that, I mean, it's an indicator that he is scum in any way, shape, or form. If a man needs to resort to messaging you on exclusively on Twitter DM, he is scum. In this situation, she's also kind of scum. I'll grant you that. I'm an equal opportunity scum caller outer, but I will say like come on. Is that not the most like glaring red flag? Like if she really takes a step back one day after typing out a Twitter DM saying like, "Oh, where should I meet you tonight?" Like she needs to look in the mirror and say, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like she really does need to do that. Okay. Okay, so the wife's name is Abby. Susan meets Michael in a deserted tiny parking lot in our town while his wife is at work during the day to do who knows what. This is just okay. I'm the only person in her life who knows about it. Well, my therapist knows too. LOL. Yeah, you have to unload that to someone. And I hate Michael just because of so many reasons. So I have a hard time keeping my feelings to myself about it. LOL. But Susan gets really defensive and mad at me if I say it's ridiculous and crazy. And Abby's sister is 20 years younger than all these people, and the sister decided to start hooking up with Alex after the divorce. Whoa, I never could have seen that one coming. Wait. Okay. Alex is Susan's ex-husband. Holy shit. So Abby's sister, this is so messy. Do these people know there's other people? It doesn't all have to be people like related to this one group of people. That's crazy. Abby's sister, okay. Which caused confusion for everyone, including the 4 children involved. Oh, not the kids. This whole thing is a joke, and I don't know how I'm a part of it because I used to be friends with Abby and her kids before all of this, and now she has me blocked on everything, even though I've done nothing to anyone. Woohoo. Sorry, the way that I said woohoo was like so on brand for this write-in. Anyway, love the pod and the rebrand. And then she says something about where she lives, and I'm not going to read that just in case, but love you. Thank you so much for writing in. That is so insane and so messy. And this is something that begs the question because like, I don't think we talk about this enough, but like when there is these situations like this, and unfortunately we've read about a lot of them on this here podcast where there's like this so much intermingling in a way that's like disturbing and so unnecessary. It does beg the question, like these people need to go outside more. That's not a question. That's a statement of a fact. And I mean it. Like, because there's so many other people in the world. Like you are creating so much unnecessary drama for yourself by limiting what you perceive your options to be to like only people you and your spouse or ex-spouse know. Why do people do that? It's so dumb. Okay, it does beg this question though. Maybe they're not really attracted to each other. They're just there, which is something that I think we all kind of understand, but like I feel like in the situations that we see so many times, it's like that. I think that really is the case. It's like it's not like there's this like undying attraction. It's just you're bored and you're there. And that's why it gets so messy within groups because everyone is there. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Freud, give me a call because I have some things I want to discuss with you. Don't know if this counts as gossip, but I've really wanted to write it in as gossip. Whoa. Don't know if this counts as gossip, but I've always really wanted to write in, but my gossip is boring or non-existent. But I'm 99.9% sure I accidentally work for the Serbian mafia and don't know how to get out of this little situation. But also kind of don't want to because it would mean looking for a new job. On LinkedIn, you're like, different kinds of mafia jobs. like what do you mean, girl? What do you mean? And the job market out there is rough. Won't mention where I'm based for my safety. Am I an accessory? Please don't make me an accessory. If I can say one thing, when you write into this podcast, don't make me an accessory. I'm not in the mood for that. I'm busy that day. I can't be doing all that. This person said, okay, but I texted the chief of police. Awesome. Okay. Hi, Mads. I'm not sure if you consider this gossip, but I've been absolutely dying to write this in since it happened. It still feels unreal. I'm a school teacher, and this happened on literally the second day of school, which also happened to be the day after Taylor announced her new album. Thank you so much for providing those very crucial timeline elements. I was getting ready for the day when my husband called me right after he had left for the day to wake me that the freaking U.S. Marshals and police and lots of men with big guns were going up to our floor of our apartment building. Naturally, I start panicking, but being the person that I am, I also start snooping. I would be panicking that they're coming to me. So I love that you're like, let me go into snoop mode. Even though I have never committed any sort of crime, my mind would be like, what did I do this time? Oh, the U.S. Marshals are here for me again. Like, I don't, that's just how my brain would be working in that moment. Okay, naturally I start panicking. Okay, there's cars and men stationed all outside of our building. Within a couple minutes, pounding on my neighbor's door over and over again, saying, U.S. Marshals, we have a warrant for your arrest. Open the door and come out with your hands up. We will be entering the premises if you don't come out, type of thing. She writes in quotes and then goes, that type of thing. Shook my whole apartment. Now I share a wall with this apartment, and I have indeed met the people that live there. Her name, Linda, her age, grandma, but she also has a grandson/son that lives with her. Eventually she must have let them in and they started searching. Eventually I start hearing pounding on my door. I panic, get dressed, and opened it. These men in their terrifying getup start asking me questions about what I know about them and shows me a picture of the kid that lives there. They start, because he's the one that they're looking for, not Linda, who literally baked us Christmas cookies last year. So that's a relief. He's not in the apartment and they don't know where he went, clearly. I'm talking to these people for a long time, and eventually they even start joking around with me. So as far as I'm concerned, we're all buds, which puts me at ease after a terrifying 6:30 a.m. wake up call. Since they can't find him, the guy I've been talking to asks if he can give me a phone number to text or call if we do see him anytime soon. So he texts me a picture of the kid with the words, Sergeant Mike, looking for this guy. I'm obsessed with that. Now, me being me, I can't just let this go. I need to dig and see if I can figure out what the kid did. So I'm going based off of what I knew about him. I couldn't find any warrant online for him in our county anywhere. So I text my husband. I can't find his warrant online. No capitals, nor punctuation, nothing. Very casual. Oh, except I don't send the text to my husband. I texted Sergeant Mike. It makes it sound like in your mind, Sergeant Mike employed you to the staff for this one. They brought you on as a consultant for this case. And you're like, so sorry, I can't find the warrant, Sergeant. Where might I be able to find that? That's crazy. The man who literally just pounded on my door to ask me serious questions about a criminal, I immediately realize, and as I go to figure out if I can delete or panic edit it to something that doesn't sound so batshit crazy to text a literal U.S. Marshal, buzz, it's Sergeant Mike. Within 10 seconds, he has responded to my text with the same name of the county the warrant is for. Then in another minute, a link to the warrant, and gives me his last name to search it. Honestly, he's such a real one for that, but that's not the point. To this moment, I still have never responded because I don't know what to say. How does one recover from that? He probably thinks I'm some dumb white bitch that thinks it's okay to just text law enforcement just because. I keep wondering what he thought when he got that. Did he tell all his buddies, or did he go home to his family and say, guess what this girl did today? It haunts me, honestly. And since I know you all want the details, robbery, that's what the warrant was for. We assume since the U.S. Marshals were involved that it must have been a pretty good haul. Still don't know what happened to him. It's been weeks. So I have never accidentally texted the chief of police, but I did in fact accidentally text Sergeant Mike of the U.S. Marshals. Wow. A round of applause for that one. That is so beautiful. That's crazy. I feel like Sergeant Mike was totally chill about it, though. I think he gets it. Maybe he thought in his mind, like, if there's like a ton of cops or something and they're like asking you if you have any info about this guy, and then you go to look it up and you can't find any trace of it, he could be thinking that you were saying, like, this is kind of sketchy, actually. Like, why are you looking? Like, is this legit? Are you guys is this all above board? Maybe he thought, maybe that was his thought process. And he's like, fuck, like, she's calling me out. Like, she can't find the warrant. And then he pulls up the warrant for you. But that's crazy. That's so insane. I love everything about it. I'm so glad that that's what you sent to him. I think, honestly, out of like everything that you could have accidentally texted Sergeant Mike, like, you lucked out because it's something directly related to what he asked you to text him about. So I feel like honestly good on you. Okay. Okie dokie. I work at a building on a lake, and there was a man and woman getting chased by the police at the park adjacent to us. The man went into the lake to get away from the police and he ended up drowning. Oh no. They pulled him out of the water and brought him inside to our hotel to resuscitate. After a long while of trying to get him back, he died in the ballroom. They just put some walls around him to wait for the coroner because they were setting up for a wedding. The show went on and they got married about an hour later and had the reception where he died. I don't like that. I really don't like that. That's awful. That's really, really, really disturbing. Okay. My mom had an affair on my stepdad with a guy that I fancied when I was 16. We laugh about it now. Who's we? What? What do you mean? Okay. But I still don't know how I feel about the whole thing. Yeah, babe. She's still with my stepdad. Love that for all of us. Loving the revamped pod. Been listening for years and can't live without my Monday monologuing with Mads Mitch. That's wow. Wow. Let's maybe talk to a licensed mental health professional about this with all the peace and love in the world. Like I think that could be the best course of action here. That's insane. That's kind of crazy. And how? What were the circumstances? How did those circumstances align to her advantage? I'm confused. All right, last one here. Delivery room drama. I checked into the hospital for my induction and they were literally me in the line for Sabrina Carpenter giving birth. Okay. I checked into the hospital for my induction and they were hooking me up to my IVs as my husband was going to get all of our belongings from the car. On the way down, he runs into a family friend. Let's call him Caleb. Caleb's mom and my mom are pretty close, and his mom helped us get our mortgage, and we see them on the weekends a lot. Caleb is close with his mom, call him a mama's boy. Husband asks what he's doing here, and he says the same thing we are. He's about to give birth. No. And they are assigned to the room next to us. The catch is as often as we see Caleb, we didn't know that he was going to be a dad. I theorize that he got with a girl who didn't know that she was pregnant and he is stepping in to be a stepdad. I asked my mom and she said that his mom never mentioned anything about being a grandma, but she was with their friend group, so she starts asking around. I didn't hear anything for the rest of the time I was in the hospital, but as I'm about to leave, Caleb's brother and his wife, Caleb's brother and his brother's wife, I'm assuming, who we all know well, stop by their postpartum room to meet presumably their new nephew and come say hi to us next door. They show us photos of them with their new child. It comes to light now that there are 2 potential baby daddies. Yeah. Okay. And she was waiting for the paternity test to come back. Rumor has it that she's TikTok famous. This was me in the Sabrina Carpenter line. Rumor has it that she's TikTok famous and was posting about how hard it is to be a single mom while waiting for the paternity results. I don't know her name and I don't have TikTok, so I can't confirm. Also, no one in Caleb's family has posted anything about the baby mama or the child, so I have no other info and it's too awkward to ask them point blank. But how Caleb was chosen as the potential daddy to be in the birthing room is beyond me. How bizarre would it be if it came back that he wasn't the dad and he watched a random child's birth and his brother has photos with a random child. Anyway, luckily he is the dad. Okay. And I'm still waiting for more info, hoping to see his mom at holiday parties and casually bring it up then. That is actually so crazy. That's so insane. What a crazy thing to just kind of like run into while you're giving birth. That's nuts. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone who wrote into this month's gossip episode. I hope you have a fabulous week and I will chat with you next Monday. And that's all she wrote. Bye.